Hello, Culture Matters podcast. We're back again with a culture topic. You follow me on Instagram, Doran underscore the culture man. You see episodes, videos, 1, 2, 3, 4 minute conversations around business, culture, life, etc. We're unpacking them. Today is a topic. We're unpacking them more deeply. Today's topic, non-negotiable for a thriving workplace. So a non-negotiable for a thriving workplace. Why this is relevant to you, I think if you are on the journey of success, whatever that looks like for you in your life, you're going to work for someone, with someone. People are going to work for and with you. If you're the founder, you're the CEO, you're an employee of an organization. Shoot, if you're a citizen of a country that has products and services, you're a consumer. I'm a consumer. You're a consumer. We have a relationship with workplace culture. So a non-negotiable for a workplace culture. First of all, it depends on who's my audience. So non-negotiable for a thriving workplace culture. The tyrant. So there's the tyrant. A non-negotiable for a workplace culture would be indirect communication. Person A and person B have a conflict. A conflict B conflict with C. Rather than working it out, A finds it easier to talk with person, yeah, A and B. A finds it easier to talk with person C about person B. Person B finds it easier to talk to person D about person A. So now A and B have this conflict. Now A goes to C, B goes to D. So person C and person D are now a part of this conflict. Person C has loyalty to person A. Person B has loyalty to person D has loyalty to person B. Yeah, C to loyalty A, D loyalty to B. It's becoming a mess. It's hard to even think about and follow it at this point. What about when person C goes to person E and person D goes to person F about person A and person B? You can see how trust is decayed and undermined in a culture. But maybe the specific set of tyrant wants that to happen because ultimately, if their camp of the organization is against person B, maybe they're able to influence person, B go to C. Maybe A is able to influence person, I'm sorry, B goes person D. A is able to influence person D and person C against B, or B is able to influence person not only D, but person C against A. And we have this control, this fight for power in an organization. Now, the conscious tyrant does this intentionally, their own political agenda. The unconscious tyrant, the coward, does this because they just can't handle the conflict. So, a non negotiable for a thriving workplace, first, it depends who my audience is. A thriving workplace for the person that's trying to take control of an organization indirectly, based on their agenda, that might be not communicating directly with those they have conflicts with. It could just be manipulating reality, bending reality to the ends that they desire. People do this on purpose. They do. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. That said, people also do this in within their own blind spots. The coward, right, or a cowardly act is one where person A, unbeknownst to themselves, as opposed to therapy or someone they can speak to in confidence, like advisory to help them with person B, they develop a chain of influence where A goes to B and B goes to D, and without awareness, they're undermining not only A undermining B and B undermining A, but they're undermining themselves. They're lessening the likelihood that they can lean into that conflict. Someone recently came on the Culture Matters podcast and was talking. Oh, Jonathan Haddad was talking about Renee Rodriguez, who's also been on the Culture Matters podcast. The negativity gap, this gulf or this crevice in this gulf in between there's a gap, this gulf in between two parties, two components of reality. Person B sees reality one way, person A sees reality another way. There's this gap in between them. I think it was the negativity gap. And you want to close that gap as make that gap as small as possible. The larger it gets, the farther away from reality, an agreed upon reality those two parties are, the closer it gets. That's how I was interpreting this articulation of these two, Jonathan Renee, or Jonathan on behalf of Renee. The closer this gap gets, the closer to reality, the closer to a common understanding at person A and B are. So now, got non-negotiable for workplace culture. How about somewhere in between tyrant, the consciously political usurper of power, and the coward, or one acting in a cowardly way. I mean, they just don't know what to do. They're projecting, they're seeking affirmation and understanding, but going in about it in a way that's not the most appropriate, building loyalty with camps below them in the hierarchy versus competent advisors and external parties that are bound by confidentiality to help them through those interpersonal conflicts. Somewhere between the tyrant and the coward is, I think if I use this right, I want to say the benevolent leader. The benevolent leader, well-meaning and kindly, warm-hearted. Maybe it's, yeah, tender-hearted, big-hearted, tolerant, benign, gracious. The opposite. Now, leader, interesting. The leader brings people together. It's one way of thinking about it. So whoever's getting people that are not getting along together and can stay calm, and those two parties that aren't getting along borrow their grace, borrow their humility, borrow their reason. That's the leader, whether with title or without. Let's look at benevolent. No, let's look at munificent. Munificent. That comes to mind. Munificent definition: generous, bountiful, open-handed, magnanimous, philanthropic, free-handed, unstinting, lavish, handsome, princely. Yeah, the munificent, beneficent leader, somewhere in the middle between the tyrant and the coward, the courageous, or I think of like courageous trust or courageous definition. The courageous, not deterred by danger or pain. Ooh, see, there's pain in conflict. Having that uncomfortable conversation. Brave, fearless, valiant, valorous, intrepid, heroic, lion-hearted, bold, daring, adventurous. It's an adventure. The opposite would be cowardly, timid. So not a tyrant, not a coward, but a courageous, benevolent, munificent leader. A non-negotiable for a thriving workplace are leaders that can help people come to an understanding, instigate the conversations. How about this? A thriving workplace, whoever is a positional leader in a meeting has to be able to facilitate it, get people thinking, talking, understanding, can't just talk at them and think for them, but must get them, help others within that group speak truth. Speak truth, share openly, ask thoughtful questions, bring thought and value into the conversation. So direct communication is extremely important. Indirect communication creates silos, it undermines trust, it's disrespectful. And that's where a culture digresses to ad hominems and character, assassination, name calling. We're talking about people, not ideas. Why undermine each other's bench? Why hire someone then and then convince everyone around you that that person's not good or not in it for the long run? Just have the damn conversation with them and they improve or get rid of them. And if you can't do that, and especially if you're a CEO, then you will be fired by the marketplace one way or another, even if it's just your life sucks because you've undermined all your relationships unbeknownst to even yourself. Um, the negation of leadership is going to destroy a thriving workplace. So a non-negotiable for a thriving workplace is direct communication. And direct communication is like telling the truth to who you are responsible to tell it to. That's gonna the value. That's gonna activate the values. And I wrote here indirect communication, the coward or the tyrant. The coward does it without awareness, the tyrant does it with intention. And I'm sorry, there's the same outcome. So the coward is just as dangerous as the tyrant in one form or another. And a coward will welcome tyranny, and a tyrant will welcome a power struggle. The last thing, non negotiable for a thriving workplace: optimized challenge, courageous trust, love. It's easy to love when one is responsible. What is the responsibility? No matter what level one's at, where are you going? Why are you going there? How are you getting there? What are you giving up? How consistent are you? How are you vocalizing it? How are we bringing people to the table and maximizing other people's productivity through their intellectual property, their labor? We have to tell the truth, handle the truth, inquire for the truth, and sacrifice for the greater aim of all parties, and we'll have a thriving work culture. Follow me at @JDuran_the Culture Man on Instagram for more culture topics. Listen to Culture Topic 1 through 9, and we will see you next time on the Culture Matters podcast. Please leave us a review on the Culture Matters podcast.